So Larry Kudlow is the replacement for outgoing chief economic advisor Gary Cohn. Now, since being tapped for this incredibly important position as an economic advisor, he's basically the guy that says, okay, we're going to do this for the economy. This is kind of the direction that we're going to go through these specific policies. Now, since being tapped for that position, a lot has come out about his different various positions, and no surprise, these positions are terrible. In fact, he's pro-TPP. He's a free trade guy, famously pro-free trade. He's also pro-Trump tax cuts. He believes in supply-side economics, so he's a trickle-down guy, all that stuff. Now, it's also been revealed that he's an idiot and has no idea what he's talking about when it comes to economics. But wait, wasn't he Reagan's economic guy? Yeah, precisely my point. Ronald Reagan's economic guy, the same, president that cut taxes and then had to raise taxes, destroyed unions, and basically made the economy what it was, what it would be today, a disaster. Anyway, now let me give you a good example of some of the stuff that Larry Kudlow has been wrong about, and this is a fairly major example. This is back in 2007, at the height of the financial collapse, right? He wrote in the National Review that we shouldn't worry about a recession. Quote, there is no recession. Oh, that's interesting. Quote, despite all the doom and gloom from the economic pessimistas, the resilient U.S. economy continues moving ahead quarter after quarter, year after year, defying dire forecasts and delivering positive growth. In fact, we're about to enter the 7th consecutive year of the Bush boom. There's no recession coming. The pessimistas were wrong. It's not going to happen. At a bare minimum, we're looking at Goldilocks 2.0. And that's a minimum. He continues. Goldilocks is alive and well. No, she is not. The Bush boom is alive and well. It's finishing up its 6th consecutive year, with more to come. Yes, it's still the greatest story never told. You know why it's the greatest story never told? Because it didn't actually happen. Because, look, it's funny that he mentions Goldilocks, because this is a fairy tale. No, don't worry, guys. There's no recession happening. It reminds me of that scene in one of the Naked Gun movies, where everything's exploding in the background, and he's like, please disperse. Nothing to see here, guys. Nothing to see here. No, nothing's exploding behind me. Why? No, everything's going to be fine. Goldilocks 2.0. You want to talk about the Bush boom, right? There was a boom, all right. Especially at the end of the Bush era. That's when the stock market exploded. Now, not only that, again, to show you how much of an idiot this guy is, he mocked people who pointed out, hey, Larry, there's a recession coming. We have hit that iceberg. We're going down. No, we're not. No, we're not. Quote, earlier today, a doom and gloom economic forecast from macroeconomic advisors was released, predicting 0% growth in the fourth quarter. This report is off by at least 2 percentage points. These guys are going to wind up with egg on their faces. That's Kudlow. This is like the captain of the Titanic saying, what, iceberg? Pfft, there's no iceberg. Come on. And if there was an iceberg, if we ended up hitting an iceberg, we would never sink. Oh boy, you pessimistas, you're going to have some egg on your face. This is the economic genius that has been tapped by President Trump. Now, the reason that I give you some context here is to show you, of course, as I said, how he has no idea what he's talking about when it comes to economics, basically when it comes to anything. Now, he has more to say, and this time it's about rich people in Trump's cabinet. Now, this was back in December, where he wrote in the National Review, quote, why shouldn't the president surround himself with successful people? Now, he's talking about, of course, the richest cabinet a president has ever had. That includes, again, people like Gary Cohn, look, he's had all these Goldman Sachs advisors go and join his campaign, and again, making it one of the wealthiest presidential cabinets ever assembled. And then Larry Kudlow looks at that and says, great, rich people. I absolutely adore rich people. I think they're fantastic. Now, he adds that, quote, this is a good thing because wealthy folks, quote, have no need to steal or engage in corruption. I mean, rich people, we're already rich. So why would we rig the rules and steal from our customers? That wouldn't make any sense. We're already rich. Well, maybe because in some circumstances or many circumstances, that's how these people got wealthy in the first place. But look, think of that mindset, right? So this is the mindset of a lot of people, I guess, on Wall Street or a part of that bubble, or really desperately want to be part of that bubble. They think that, hey man, look, wealthy people are wealthy because they're more moral. They're harder working. They succeeded because of their own gumption. They pulled themselves up by their bootstraps. And look, you people that are calling them corrupt, oh, you're just jealous and lazy. You want to get there the easy way. But here's the thing. And look, while there are cases of some people who did work hard, who had a great idea, that ended up being able to capitalize that and get rich, there are many people, and they, got rich in an ethical way. But there are so many others that got wealthy very unethically. Now, look, some simply inherited wealth, okay? Or there are people that screwed other people over and stepped over everybody else in order to gain that wealth. Let me give you an example. Martin Shkreli, fantastic example, right? This is a guy who just got sentenced for 7 years in prison for defrauding investors. Now, this isn't because he raised prices on Daraprim, right? Which is a drug that was that is related to HIV, I believe. He raised that drug over 5,000%, the price. He didn't go to prison for that. Again, he went to prison for defrauding investors, which is a no-no. The biggest crime that you can do in America is rip off rich people, rip off poor people, and you're fine. And so that's how many of these people get rich. They just rip off poor people, and they ascend to the top. As long as you don't touch your fellow rich people, you're fine, right? So, look, maybe he's right in a way. He's like, hey, man, rich people don't steal from other rich people. No, that's not how you're not going to have that happen when you hire rich people. They can't be corrupt in that way. But then they don't look at stealing from poor people as corruption. They see it as, well, that's just how we do business. That's just how normal business actually operates. I mean, of course, we all steal from poor people. We all screw over our workers. We all screw over our customers. And that's just what we do. That's actual business. That's capitalism. It's disgusting, but I believe that's their mindset, right? Now, to show you, of course, how, yes, rich people can be absolutely corrupt, Jonathan Chait pointed this out. He said, in point of fact, it does not take much effort to find wealthy folks who steal and engage in corruption. Look at imprisoned Colbert Don Blankenship, who indirectly murdered 29 of his employees by flouting safety regulations, and who tried to purchase his state's legal and political system to protect himself. So that's one pretty big example. Here's another. President Donald Trump himself. Now, Donald Trump, he got a $1 million loan from his dad. It was a small $1 million loan, but also got a massive inheritance. Now, you would think that with all this money that he got from his daddy, that he had no need to steal or engage in corruption. Instead, Chait writes, he cheated hundreds of contractors out of their money, defrauded thousands through scams, and frequently boasted of his success at corrupting politicians. Clearly, it is not impossible for already wealthy people to steal and engage in corruption. It is pretty laughable that there are people who think that, no, if you're rich and powerful, you don't need to be corrupt. You don't need to steal from other people. Well, look, we've had instances, many instances of corruption. And we had incredibly corrupt people running for president. Again, Donald Trump was one of them. And we also had somebody else who was running that was incredibly corrupt. Now, one of them was corrupted by the system of money and politics itself. The Clintons made billions of dollars off their political careers. This is public money. This is public service, which turned into a profit-making venture where their entire family benefited for decades. And again, got billions of dollars. Another is, of course, a corrupt businessman. Now, Trump was the guy who, as I mentioned before, bought the politicians. And Hillary Clinton was the one who was purchased by these kinds of people like Donald Trump. So those are two sides of the coin. Now, Kudlow, going back to him, claiming that these wealthy people cannot be corrupt is the height of naivete. Or maybe it's not naivete at all. Maybe he actually knows this, and maybe he's lying on his ass. Doesn't care, because his whole job on CNBC, doing all this Wall Street reporting is just to kiss up to the rich. And now, finally, after years of kissing ass, he finally gets his due. He actually gets to get back into the White House. Either way, I think it's fairly clear that we have a very unqualified economic advisor. But he will be serving a very unqualified president. I think there's going to be a disastrous financial crash. And I think it's coming. I think it's, at this point, inevitable. With Hillary Clinton, it was going to be certainly a question and certainly a possibility. Now, with Donald Trump, I think it's almost going to be a certainty. So, watch out. Here comes impact. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.